Welcome. I am Dr. Shante Steele Cicerone, and in this section of the curriculum, we are going to be talking about financial literacy. I want to forewarn you that we are going to take a surface dive into the topic as I will be concentrating on providing practical information, but I do encourage you to be intentional about increasing your financial literacy awareness and seeking resources that I will be recommending at the end of the presentation because in life overall, you will be much better off because of it. So, when I speak of financial literacy, I am referring to you having the possession of knowledge and skills that enable informed and effective money management strategies. So, to ensure you have those skills, we need to remember that financial planning is super important. You're going to be planning your finances out, setting goals, and then balancing your income along the way. Are you someone who typically gets money and then lives like life's a party, even though it might be your last couple of dollars? Or are you a person who is meticulous about budgeting? Regardless, I don't expect you to pull out spreadsheets and have all the Excel spreadsheets available to demonstrate how you're spending every penny, but I do hope that you have a budget. If you have any kind of consistent income coming in, whether it's allowance, donations, financial aid, a stipend, or a scholarship, no matter how minimal you think it is, it's important that you are budgeting for those pennies. Someone once told me if you look after the pennies, the dollars will look after themselves. And I believe that that is true. So if you were getting $100 a month, you might think it's just $100, but I'm guarantee it would make the most sense if you were budgeting that $100 to see where you are spending your money. What are some things that could be cut out? What are some things that you could be purchasing regularly that might be at a more affordable cost if you bought it somewhere else. So hopefully you're already doing this. And if not, I want you to open Google, pull up some examples of budgets, and figure out what works best for you. You might open a Word document and then just put in a couple of columns and make a simple spreadsheet with your income and things you anticipate you'll be buying. Maybe you're like me and you actually work, and on payday, you just jot down a couple of things that are due and you cross those off before making sure you know how much you have left to play with. Or you are an extensive financial accountant and you have record of everything going back for the last 4 years, and this is very elementary information for you. Regardless, moral of the story is please don't act like life's a party every time money comes into your pockets or possession, and make sure you are balancing some type of budget or having a budget. An important way to make sure that you have income to balance and budget with is thinking about career planning. As you can see from the individual to the left of the screen, it might feel like a maze sometimes, especially when you are just an undergraduate student and people are asking you to think about your desired end goal so that you can work backwards. But it is important to think about where you plan to land. Your career, the average salary associated with those careers, any compensation or supplemental income that you can get while obtaining that career, super relevant. For example, for smart trainees and those on the path to become a research scientist and make a world of difference at the National Institute of Drug Abuse or at another organization supporting NIH, there may be a lot of untapped funds for you on your journey. I wanted you to pay a close attention to the yellow highlighted area. There are funding mechanisms to support development of research scientists through multiple stages of their career. And if you were to take some time to go and look at the website specifically, you'll see that even as an undergraduate, a graduate student, or a postdoctoral fellow, you might have some funding and therefore you will have income to budget. Think about those careers. Hopefully, you all are on this path. But if you haven't solidified it in your mind, we might need to talk. So right now, I want to give you some practical tips from Miss Shantae. Years ago, I did a series called 10 Tips from Tay, and it kind of stuck with me. So these won't be exactly 10 tips, but I did want to leave you with some information that I found helpful. Okay, so let's talk about checking accounts. I want you all to have a checking account, a free checking and savings account, maybe even a USF Federal Credit Union checking account because sometimes federal credit unions have better rates than other banks. But I would like you all to make decline your default when you do not have enough funds to cover it. A lot of bank tellers or staff will tell you, hey, we have this great feature where if you don't have enough money in your checking account, we'll just move it on over for you, send it from your savings to your checking, and pay for whatever purchase to avoid overdraft fees. Well, I didn't know it for a while till I had spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars, my undergraduate experience, on overdraft fees, not budgeting, not paying attention that something that I paid for last week had not come out yet. And I thought that I had additional funds in an account and I did not because there were pending charges I couldn't see. I paid a lot of overdraft fees. And when I complained and went in and talked to a teller, she said that I could just set my account up so that it will automatically decline. And I said, I want to do that because I don't want you to pay for something I can't afford. I also don't want the bank to allow me to purchase something when there's no money in there, even if they're willing to just charge me a $36 overdraft fee or whatever it is. I would rather it just embarrass me in public and decline. So even if it's just I've got $10 in there and I'm trying to make a purchase for $10.25, maybe I have all the money. It's just in my savings account. If it's in my savings account, it's in there for a purpose. I would rather it say, ma'am, your card has been declined. And guess what? I'm going to put all those items back. Not those items. If it's $10, it's probably one or two things. But I'm going to walk away with my head held high, even though the people in line behind me might look at me with judgment, because I do not want to get in the habit of spending more than I have. Which is why there is a great money management book that's available even on Libby, the free library app that'll allow you to access Audible or physical books to read, ebooks to read for free if you have a library card. In the money management book, the author encourages readers to start carrying cash because we can become numb to swiping with checking accounts, with our debit cards, with our credit cards. That plastic just makes you feel like, yeah, I'll figure it out later. But if all you have for the week is in an envelope and it's cash and it's tangible, you begin to slowly turn that over. When you break your last 20, you know it's the last 20 and there is no more until next time. Stick to the budget. Okay. This is a budget that was obtained from a Google search, but no matter what type of budget you're using, like I said, Word document, Excel spreadsheet, whatever you have in there dictating what's coming in, what you're spending money on, where your savings should be going, what's included in the savings, what are those expenses, make sure you stick to that budget. I don't need a budget that's this thorough right now. Maybe you don't either. But if you just focus on the yellow portion, maybe you have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and all these other AMC subscriptions, and they equate to about $80 a month. And you realize you're only watching two of those when you have time because you're busy working on your research. Or you're entertaining yourself and you're going out with friends to restaurants, and that's your thing. You go brunch every Saturday and you go to dinner every Sunday night, and you're spending about $200 a month on that. And then you have to calculate for your rent, your cell phone bill, your credit card payments, your this, your that, and maybe you're even on a payment plan for your tuition. All of those expenses should be listed, but I would say give yourself a budget for you down to the last item. I have gas allocated. I have cell phone bill allocated. I have date night for me and my husband allocated. I have savings allocated. And I also have donations, gifts, and charity allocated. So at the end of it, if I have $25 allocated to buy a gift for a friend and I find out it's actually my cousin's birthday too, I'm going to either get them both a $10 gift and a $2 card, or I am just going to stick with the one because I am not moving money around. Again, stick to the budget and focus on staying out of the red. Credit scores was something that just flew over my head the majority of my life because I didn't realize that there were so many small nuances that you have to pay attention to when it comes to the credit score. Again, we should all be striving for excellent credit, but in times of recession or economic downturn, a fair credit score might feel like an amazing credit score. You might start getting all types of offers because when the average citizen's credit score is a 550 and you got a 651, it looks amazing. But we want to still strive for excellent. And there's a lot that goes into determining what that credit score is. I do use Credit Karma. It was widely advertised. It's free. I've even used it in the past to file my simple tax return before I started going to a tax agency. But you want to make sure that you're paying attention to your payment history. You are understanding how credit usage is going to impact your credit score. Length of credit history is super important. So I wouldn't say don't establish credit now as an undergraduate. If you get a credit card and it's worth $1,000 over time, if you could at least make a purchase on it once a quarter and pay it off immediately, it will grow and grow and grow. And next thing you know, you'll have $20,000 worth of credit, but do not spend that. You just want to have the credit history established. If you had your first credit card open when you're 18, when you're 30, it will show some great history. Know that they want to have a good credit mix. Is there an installment account? Is there a revolving credit account? That makes a difference. And then your inquiries. You could have a credit score of 699 and you're so close to a 700. You're just excited about it. And then you go somewhere and they offer you a promotion and they're like, you get this amazing coupon or you get free $50 rewards cash if you just sign up for our credit card. And you say, sure. And you get this coupon for $50 of Kohl's Cash or whatever it is. And then you go home and your credit score now says 651 and you're like, what happened? Well, you had a credit inquiry come and ruin your credit score for that month. And it will bounce back and the inquiry will fall off over time, but you just need to be mindful of these things. The thing I wish I was most mindful of was credit usage, your utilization. If you have a $1,000 credit card, folks, you should not spend more than $300 on that credit card. You should be very aware of your credit reporting cycle. Maybe on the 15th of the month, they are going to look and see how much you owe and report it to the credit bureaus. So on the 17th of the month, even if you paid that credit card off, you had a $1,000 credit card, you spent 800, you paid it down from 800 to 500. Well, on the 15th of the month, if you haven't done it by then, they're going to tell the credit bureau agencies that you now owe 800 out of $1,000. You've got 80% utilization and your credit score is going to go down until next month when they check again, pull again, and they see that it's better. So be mindful of those details. When are they submitting it? Can you make a payment down to pay it down before that? And then don't allow it to go above 30 to 33% ever. It'll mess you up. Owning versus renting. Sometimes renting makes sense. For example, you are taking an elective class out of interest, you are taking a class outside of your academic major subject area, and the book is $200 and you can rent it for 80. Rent that book. You don't need it. It's not your thing. You're just doing it for the semester. But other times, when that same scenario applies and you are taking a class in your major, it's a business foundations class. You're going to be taking a lot of business classes. You know you have to write a paper. You could cite this one. Go ahead and spend the $200 because then later you could sell it back for something, or you can decide next year I'm going to find a freshman business major and I'm going to rent it to them for $20, and the next semester I'm going to rent it to someone else for $20, and I'm going to hopefully make my money back off this book before they come out with a new edition. But when it comes to home ownership, owning has its perks, stability, fixed mortgage rates. You don't have to worry about that landlord saying, oh no, this two-bedroom that was already $200 more expensive than you wanted to pay is going up to $1,400 a month. But the thing I wish I had known or that my parents had the capacity to assist me with was gaining property as an undergrad. I have met a lot of people who have purchased condos or townhouses for their children when they have gone to college because it was easier than paying for their kids' rent. And think about this. If you can get a two-bedroom, two-bathroom condo in Tampa right now for let's say 150,000, And the mortgage on that is only going to be $700 a month. And then the HOA on that is going to be $200 a month. That is $900 a month. No student is getting a two-bedroom for $900 a month. So that parent puts their kid in that room and says, pick your favorite friend and move in and charge them half the rent. That child could say, I'm not going to tell my friend that my parent's the landlord, so I'm going to charge them $750, which is average for homes in the area, and then they're going to pay less on their rent. Or the parent's going to get a three-bedroom, two-bathroom, give their child that master bedroom with the master bathroom, and say, fill it up with two other students whose rent, all combined, is going to cover your living expenses. It makes so much sense. And then if the parents are amazing on graduation day, they're going to turn to their kid and say, here's your keys. I brought this for you. Property in your name. Do what you want. As a first generation college student, I did not have that luxury, but I do want to bring it up to you because even as an undergraduate, you might decide that you have stable income, you've got some scholarships coming in, you want to save what, $5,000, find another friend who's willing to do the same, and you go in and purchase a property in Tampa. So then when you graduate, you don't have to rush to move somewhere else and figure out what you're doing next. You could take a gap year, you could stay and know that you can afford your mortgage, or you can rent your property out to the next person, go somewhere else, and keep accruing not escrow, I'm sorry, accruing equity in that home. And then you and your friend will figure out if you ever want to sell it or just move back to it because Tampa's a pretty amazing area. People don't look at these much anymore, but money orders are super important. I had my little sister call me a couple years ago and ask me to help her figure out how to fill out a money order. And I realized I did not teach my little sister how to do this. Who taught me? My mom taught me. Okay, people don't use them as much. So I just want to make sure you all know money orders, similar to checks, have to be filled out with pay to information, your signature, and then often important details so that whoever you're paying knows that you sent that money order in. I like money orders when I am dealing with new circumstances. For example, I might not want to pay for something with my debit card or credit card. I don't want to pay for it with a credit card because I'm trying not to use my credit card. I don't want to pay for it with my debit card because I don't want the money sitting in my account even after I've paid it. And with a check, you are at the mercy of the person when they cash the check and take the money. Well, with a money order, when I go and swipe my card to get a money order at a place like Amscot or Walmart or Publix customer service counter, they take the money right out of my account. I get a receipt, I get to track it, and I get to see who has purchased, who has cashed this money order, similar to a check. So if someone says, oh no, we never received your payment, I can figure out that you surely did, or we can figure out who did. The other reason you might want to pay with a money order is just for the sake of having multiple accountability. For example, I lived in an apartment building who accused me of not paying my rent once. And it turned out there was a new hire at the desk, and my check got shuffled in with a group of other checks, and she didn't finish writing the receipt and all this other stuff. So, what I started doing was making sure I paid for my money order with a debit card. So then I have my debit card linked to the money order transaction, and I can go back and investigate that way. I also have the money order, and I'm keeping the piece that you tear off that shows the money order numbers in case I need to launch an investigation. And then when I go and pay my rent, I ask for a receipt. So I have all these forms of evidence that you guys screwed up, I'm not paying again. Money orders can be helpful, so I just want you to be mindful that you would pay, you would, fill out the pay to, you would purchase, you would put your purchaser information, you'd sign it. I'd sign Dr. Shante Steele Cicerone, and then my current address. And then at the bottom of it, I might write something like, um, made dues. Maybe you're a part of a sorority or a fraternity and they require annual dues. Well, I'm going to pay with a money order so I can keep track, and I'm going to show it. And I'm going to show that I have paid on time because the money order date is there. And then I'm going to get a receipt to confirm you received my payment on time. There are circumstances where these are helpful. All right, so we already talked about credit cards. I want you to stay away from them. But I also wanted you to realize that interest rates are the reasons you should stay away from them. And if you're going to use them, you want to make sure that you are paying on time and resetting that to a zero balance to avoid interest rates at all costs. The average interest rates these days are 18.26%. This was based on an article written in 2021. I have a credit card that I believe is 26% interest rate. I have another one that it had only like 14. There's a range, but all in all, this equates to companies hoping I don't make a payment on time, hoping I spend more than I can afford so that they can earn that interest from me. Can you imagine having to pay 18% of $3,000 because you purchased something you didn't really need on a credit card? Also, never just pay the minimum. They want you to pay the minimum. They're going to make way more money off of you. Live below your means. If you don't remember anything else, remember me saying that you should increase your income and decrease your bills. It is going to be the best thing you could do for yourself. Get a part time job. Gain extra income doing freelance work. Maybe you're a content creator. Maybe you've got a cool YouTube channel. Maybe you are transcribing interviews for someone else and getting paid on the side or doing yard work. Maybe instead of living in a one bedroom apartment that's probably going to run you about $900 a month plus electricity, plus Wi Fi, plus all the other things, you get a roommate and then you split it so that someone else is helping you with the bills and you have enough left over to live your life enjoyably. Use coupons whenever possible. I don't understand why people don't search for coupons. There's so many ways to get coupons. You could even use, I believe it's Microsoft Edge and Bing.com. They allow you to get a bunch of different points. There's something called Receipt Hog. You can take pictures of receipts and get points, and these points equate to free gift cards, people. Also, coupon. If there is a coupon in the USF coupon book or the Student Life 101 app that gives USF students coupons for local restaurants around town, you should know about it and you should choose to go to that restaurant instead. Happy hour, go at the right time of day. Can you get this same meal for $5 off? You should be mindful of that. Have a frugal social life. That is my key tip and advice for all college students. Know what the resources are. Many people forget about the USF pantry on multiple campuses. If you are having trouble making ends meet, you don't get paid till Friday, you're hungry on Tuesday, do not eat top ramen or just boil spaghetti noodles all day, every day for the next week. There are people and places that can help you with some good canned goods. Get some beans and rice in there. But the frugal social life, you want to look cute on a budget. Did you know that the Salvation Army thrift store has 50% off on Wednesdays? There are some great finds at thrift stores and secondhand stores and consignment shops all over the place. Tampa is a great place for that, different neighborhoods that have different items. And as you prepare to go to an upcoming conference or job interview, you could rent a suit because USF has that. I believe there's a suitable office here. Or you can go to the Salvation Army on a 50% off day, get a blazer, go back another day, pay $4 or $5 for some pants that might need to be hemmed but will look nice and sharp when you are at the CPDD conference in the summer. Frugality changes lives. Before I end, I did want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, right? One of the tips that I can give about being mindful of your income and your budget is making sure you're mindful of scams and people who are out there trying to take money away. When I graduated with my master's degree, I could not initially find a job, so I decided to work for a company called Gilbarco Vita Roots, and we built gas pumps. It was the most labor-intensive job I've ever had, but I learned a lot. And the engineers at that company kept having to change the methods for card readers because there's these skimmers that I learned about. People are scamming, they are placing things on top of the card reader. And so therefore you need to be even more careful. I was advised never use my PIN number at a gas pump. Always run it as credit because then you'd be able to find illegal, inaccurate, harmful transactions more quickly because they'll be pending as a credit transaction. Also, if someone has a skimmer on there and you punch in your debit card PIN number, they can go to the bank and withdraw money. They have a way to clear you out. If you just run it as credit, they can still try and hack, but usually they make smaller deposits. You might look at your account and say, why is someone depositing 25 cents and withdrawing 25 cents? And now they're depositing $2.50 and withdrawing $2.50. They're trying to see how much money is in there before they hit you with a big charge. Look for suspicious activities on your credit card statements. Never use your PIN number at a gas pump. Be mindful that that one thing that looks like the card reader's loose, or it looks like there's something on this card reader that's not on the others, or even something as crazy as a pencil on top of the gas pump. It could be a transmitter that's going to cause people to share your information, and multiple people across the globe will start scamming from your account instantaneously. And then remember, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. I had a student once shared with me that they got emailed a proposition, give us $500, we'll help you turn it into $5,000. Just send this to us through Money Amscot or MoneyGram and blah, blah, blah. And they did it because it was around Christmas time and they were hoping to get a lot of money back. But instead of being able to get a few loved ones a gift, they were able to get no one anything because they got scammed. If there's this big, quick, fast, easy way to make a profit, it might not be true. And you should be mindful of that because people are always trying to take advantage. We don't plan to fail. We just fail to plan. I don't know who initially said that, but when it comes to money management, financial literacy, it's super true. Please plan because at least you can avoid failing. There's a couple resources available to all USF students, and there was more probably through your bank, through other agencies in the community. But here at USF, the USF Health Financial Literacy and Debt Management option is available for students. You can have a one-on-one coaching session. Also, the Merrill Lynch Wealth Management Center through the Muma College of Business is available for students to help you understand. They've got a lot of resources online, and this is just a way that you increase your financial knowledge and make sure you avoid stepping in holes that other people have stepped in before you. Understand the best practices and understand that on your journey to having a great salary and, you know, ensuring generational wealth for your families, you do not have to make the same bad choices that other people like me have made. Again, this is Dr. Shantae Steele Cicerone, and I just wanted to leave you with some tips because you are on your way to being financially literate.